You have the best seat in the house. Welcome into the front row of the Utah Jazz. I'm your host, Holly Rowe. And oh my gosh, we have some big news. We have the new voice of the Utah Jazz in the arena, public address announcer, Marque Denmon. Welcome to Utah. This is like a huge deal.
Thank you so very much. And yes, it is. I'm very delighted and excited to be in Utah, in Salt Lake in specific, but exploring the great state of Utah, a great, great place here in the United States.
Okay, so I can already hear from the pipes. I was looking through your resume and right at the top it says voice actor. And I'm just tell me about this voice because it is the biggest, most essential part of your job as we get to know you here in Utah.
Oh, thank you. I'm a voiceover artist of 20 plus years, but I love live events and I've learned to use it within almost a 20-year period for live events specifically for all kinds of sports, award shows, and things of this sort. But my passion is in sports.
You have done a lot in sports, whether it's in Atlanta for the Braves or the Falcons or the Harlem Globetrotters. I want to ask you about that one later. You've done a lot of work in HBCU, college sports. Tell me where your passion for sports comes. Where does that come from?
From my parents. My father, who was a basketball coach, a basketball player, and my love for that, for sports, not just basketball, but baseball, football, a myriad of sports comes from my upbringing and my home that I grew up in. My parents and my father in specific really imprinted me. Um, and we watched games together. Of course, again, I just mentioned that he coached many kids in the community, and so I always tagged along for those things. That's where my love for the sports came from.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Lufkin, Texas. If you ever heard of that place, it's produced many, many of our sports icons. Hall of Famer Ken Houston. Everyone knows Des Bryant. That's where I'm from. I'm also from Dallas, Texas. Everybody knows the Big D. So these are the places that have really, really shaped me. And that's where I um, really have to give the credit to a lot of the shaping as to who I and what I've become.
You're right. I have covered a lot of college athletes through the years out of Lufkin, Texas. So as soon as you said that, I was like, wait a minute. I know that town. That's a very famous town for college athletes. Okay, this is a strange question, but I'm sure a lot of people want to know this is why Utah? I mean, you've been different places, you've had different experiences, and this is a big change for fans here. They've been used to one voice for 30 years. This is going to be a big change. What attracted you to this?
I think that Utah is a really, really great place and space, specifically when it comes to the Utah Jazz. This is a fan base that is unlike any other. I've watched for years from afar how fervent the fans are. But when you get here, what you really find out is they're not only passionate, but they're very knowledgeable of the game. They know their players very well, and they're not just blindly following and supporting the franchise and the organization. These are people who have high basketball IQs, and the way that I know that is because I was here during the Salt Lake Summer League and was assigned a couple of games. But Holly, I have to share with you, I stayed in town after I my assigned games, and I went to the subsequent games, and I sit in the stands, and I listened in on to the chatter of the people, and that's where I picked up on. Um, it's a great place and space. It's you've had 333 consecutive sellouts here. You're not going to find that. And what I was going to divulge, I'm sorry, I'm not answering your question pointedly, was this. I also came into talks with another NBA team for this particular role. So I'm bringing that up because I did have a choice to make. In
And you
Utah,
picked us.
yes,
I
because Utah is that kind of marketplace. And I feel delighted and excited and very honored to come behind someone like a Dan Roberts to fill this post and position because it's a very, very high honor.
Well, that makes me happy to hear that. You chose us, sometimes, when you have lots of options, we wanna be on the top of the list, and I love that you said that for us. Tell me a little bit about I'm fascinated by the role because I think it's something like, everybody thinks you can just step in and do this. Well, how hard could this be? And what I have learned through 30 years in broadcasting is it is an absolute art because you are trying to punctuate what's happening on the court, bring the excitement on the crowd without being annoying or overbearing. I feel like it's like all of these things. How do you navigate really owning this role?
Very good question. First and foremost, I understand the people, they don't come to the games to hear or see, rather, the PA. They come to see the world class athletes that the NBA puts on the floor and that we have here in Salt Lake with the Utah Jazz. My job and duty is to accentuate the wonderful play on the floor. Um, I'm a part of a big symphony in the production team. And so there's a big well thought out production that goes on into each game and whatnot. So my job and my duty is simply this, to be somewhat the secret sauce.
Ooh, I
Uh,
like that.
I'm going to run the pick and roll with the team all night long to make the opposition and the Delta Center a hard place to come when they come to Salt Lake. And so when there's a great play, my job is to accentuate that on the floor with the style that I employ here. And so get ready for the Delta Center to be turned upside down
I
because
like
I'm
it.
going to provide that each night with the exciting plays that the players give to me.
Oh, that's fun. I was talking to someone recently and they said something interesting. They said kind of like a play-by-play person or a PA announcer, you are like the score of the movie. Like you know it's there, but the action is the star, right? And the game
Yes.
is the star, but you're that underlying score. Like think of the shark in Jaws, just that that makes us fearful of this enemy or so you are that score that's underlying all the action. I thought that was a fun way to say it. So when you use the word symphony, I was like, that's
Yes.
exactly what we were talking about.
Yes. And if I might go back just for a moment, I think you made a great point. Um, there's time put into this. This is not a job or a role that anyone can just decide overnight that they can step into. I put years into this, just like I did with my voice acting and voice training. A lot of that's a crowded space and has a propensity or tendency for people to think that it's something that's easy to do, that they can just step right in. And someone like yourself, I'm like you in the way of one commonality, kind of a Swiss Army knife. I cover 6 sports. So you have to have a great degree of knowledge of all of those sports and a command of those things. And, I have trained and put time in and kind of refined how I announce the games per sport. So that
Because
is
everything's different. The rhythm is different, right?
absolutely,
Every
yes.
rhythm is different. So your beat, your staccato, your emphasis, your punctuation, it all has to be a little different. Okay, what about catchphrases? Are you a catchphrase guy? Are you gonna have fun? Are you a guy that's gonna have your own kind of signature?
Absolutely. To answer your question pointedly, I think it's the role of a good PA announcer first essentially is to give the information, to disseminate the information to the fans on what's going on the court, and maintain your professionality in that regard. However, to answer your question, yes, I have some in the bag that I plan to employ here in Delta Center that I hope will gravitate and that the fans will gravitate to, and they'll catch on. And yes, I can't wait to bring them out of the bag because yes, not only catchphrases, Holly, ad libs. We have 3-point shots, we have explosive dunks. You have great electrifying passes. I'm going to accentuate that with verbiage, ad libs, catchphrases without being overbearing.
I love that. Like flavor, like we want flavor. We want
Yes.
spice, like you said, secret sauce. So I know we'll get to know your voice and what you're bringing to the Utah Jazz from a work perspective, but tell us a little bit about the man behind the scenes. What is something you're really proud of, just personally? So as we get to know you, we know a little more about you.
I think my role as a dad is most fulfilling. Is my, I would really have to say, I have a son. He's 25 years old. And a recent college grad and from the University of West Georgia, and shaping him, molding him, imprinting him, and seeing him become the young person, the young man, productive that he is. I think that, for him to come from me or through me is most fulfilling. I do have, he's my only child, but I do have other surrogates, of course, that I've been able to have an impact on. But that would be my role as dad is my most fulfilling and most proud thing.
Okay, let me ask a couple quick questions before I let you go. Opening day is right around the corner. Kind of what is your lead up process to are you doing any practice games? Are you doing practice dress rehearsals with the whole crew? What will it lead up to for opening night?
The process for preparing for opening night, yes, we will have a few dress rehearsals, open scrimmages, and of course, preseason will prepare me. And I also, again, have to credit the organization for bringing me to Summer League because that kind of broke me in. I've had, you know, experience helping in the WNBA over with the Atlanta Dream, but there is nothing like quite getting your feet wet, and the Summer League afforded me that. And so my prep will continue through those opportunities that I'll get in preseason to get ready for opening night because opening night we know has a lot of activations, a lot of big production. And so I'll be preparing and studying and doing everything necessary to have a crisp, clean opening night because you get one chance for an opening impression.
Absolutely. Okay, us too. We get one chance for an opening impression with you. You've moved here to Utah. What's, your first few weeks been like?
Man, it's been excellent. And I say that without exaggeration. I'm very fortunate. I have some family here. Shout out to Keith and Kristen Barnes. Um, who are very engaged, very involved here in the Salt Lake community. My family, they're actually my cousins. They both are coaches here on the local scene, high school level. So recently, just this past Friday night, I went out to Murray and attended the Highland Murray High School football game and engaged there in the community. Got to meet a lot of the people from the different schools and just getting out and engaging. And my grandfather taught me if you want to be a person of the people, you have to get out amongst the people. And so that's what I intend to do and what I've been doing here in Salt Lake. And I hope to expand that out throughout the state. I am an avid outdoorsman. Um, so I plan, and I'm very extroverted. So I built up my interpersonal skills over the years. I plan on meeting and greeting people everywhere and making myself available to all here in the Salt Lake area.
Well, great. We can't wait to get to know you a little better. Last thing before I let you go, just tell us like what is something that you're really proud of kind of about who you are as a person. Like, we'll get to know you through your voice and your exclamation points that you're going to give us for the Utah Jazz this season. But tell us about the man behind the mic. What is something important you'd love to share with our listeners?
I think that first and foremost, just to the public in general, that, you know, in my career, I've been on a quest to seek out some of these very coveted positions, such as this one, because this is a type of end game, if you will, for someone who is in my role. Um, so I would tell a lot of people if you've had challenges, One thing that I'm very proud of, if you've had past failures, and we've all had failures, we've all fallen, we've all had disappointments, that you're able to overcome those things, that you're able to have a certain mindset. I'm very proud of being able to overcome past failures, rejections, disappointments, these kinds of things, and to continue to challenge myself to greatness. I think I try to make myself a lot of times get into places where I'm uncomfortable, not staying in a comfort zone. And that coming to Utah is part of that also. It helps me to challenge myself and my greatness. And so my message would be, that's been my life's journey up until this point. If you have challenges, you know, forward ever, backwards never, don't stop until you're on top. And even when you get on top, keep it moving.
I love it. Well, thank you so much. We cannot wait to hear the secret sauce that you're going to be bringing to the Utah Jazz this season. I just want to welcome you so warmly to Utah. Thank you for taking a chance on us. I know the Utah Jazz family is going to embrace and love you and welcome you. That's the kind of people we are here in Utah. So I can't wait for all of us to do that with you. And hey, I'm here for the catchphrase. We're gonna circle back on this after I get a listen to a couple of games, and I'm gonna be like, oh, I see what he's bringing. I love it.
Thank you so much to the great icon, Holly Rowe. I've been watching you for years, watched you just this past weekend, even. And I'm just honored to be on the podcast with you. You've been a very big inspiration to many of us.
Well,
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you. All right, that's front row. And I really love this front row because you will literally be sitting on the front row of
Yes.
the Utah Jazz on our exhibition games, all of the games coming up for Utah. And we can't wait to hear what you bring to the Utah Jazz. Thank you so much.